All right, all right. It is Friday night. What's up, everybody? Guy here. I am live, not on my home fiber internet. So, anytime you get away from your home, play a road game, you're not on the plugged in Ethernet fiber, all bets are off. I'm in Boulder, Colorado at a WeWork. I've never been to a WeWork before. This place is awesome. I've got bottomless beverages. I've got a snack machine. Maybe I'll order a DoorDash later. We'll see how long the stream goes. Knock on wood, good internet. Not like the Marriott across the street, which has the worst internet ever. WeWork, Boulder, Grace. She was great. Got me set up in this little room. And, we'll see how this internet does. But the speed tests are good. And I don't know. WeWork, promising company. Might have to look into it. I've heard good things. All right. I wasn't sure if I would be live on Friday night for a few reasons. One, the travel. I've got the Colorado spring game tomorrow on Pac-12 Network. Went to Colorado practice today. That's not what we're going to talk about here. But just to catch up on what's going on in my life. Went to the Colorado spring game today. Got to spend about 45 minutes with Coach Prime in a meeting room. They took us down to the field. We went to practice. They said, Coach, you want to talk to these guys right here? And he said, you know what he said? He said, no, let's go somewhere where they'll be more comfortable. So we went up to the meeting area, met with him, met with their defensive coordinator, their offensive coordinator. Pat Shermer's the offensive coordinator. Talked to him for a while and had a good time. So I'm working tomorrow on the Colorado spring game, but we got draft stuff to talk about tonight. The draft second round is about to begin. And, I think I know what one of the big stories is. It's the Niners, because I'm watching NFL Network right now, and they're starting their draft coverage with Dale Jeremiah, Ian Rappaport, and Schrager doing little reports. They're talking about Aiyuk, and they're talking about Deebo. By the way, if you want to see, this is the Colorado offense with my notes for tomorrow. That's the Colorado defense. It's what you call a spotting board. Okay, this is a board. Now tomorrow it'll be bigger because it'll be offense and then defense like that. But for today, going out to practice, I just took it out like this, flipped it around, and some of those handwritten notes will get transferred to text notes. Anyway, that's that. Hey, Ricky Pearsall was the pick yesterday, and just a little promotion. If you missed it, go watch it. It was great conversation. Jacob from the 24/7 site that covers the Florida Gators came on after midnight his time and gave us an awesome breakdown. Jacob Rudner is his name. And it's about 10 minutes, and it's on the YouTube channel, and it's in the podcast feed. You can just go watch. Okay. So, it feels like maybe there's is there some conflicting information right now? This is a night where the chat is, you can make or break it with good information or bad information. So don't be putting bad information out. In the chat, and there's only so much we can monitor. I am watching the stream here right now. But in the chat, Jan says that Schefter just said we're prepared to move on both Debo and BA. So was that past tense? I didn't hear. I can tell you what Ian Rappaport and Peter Schrager just said. Both of them said, and they do report independently. Okay, so I think they both heard kind of the same thing on Aiyuk. Everyone is more focused on an Aiyuk extension now, is what Rap Sheet said about Aiyuk. Schrager, once we pass the first round, safe to say Aiyuk is off the table. All right. Now, here's what they each said about Debo. Rap Sheet said, vocal cord surgery, 6-week anniversary, 5-week anniversary today. Rap Sheet said, I haven't sensed any momentum on a Debo trade. I haven't sensed any momentum on a Debo trade. Schrager said Debo likely off the table. But then he mentioned the Steelers. Okay. But it does feel like barring, and this is where I'll say, you do need a first for Aiyuk, but there is a team that has the equivalent of a first here, and that's Washington, who's going to start this Friday night with the 4th pick and the 8th pick of this round. So that is the equivalent of a first rounder, like a 20s, low 20s first rounder. But the Niners were trying to trade out of the first round yesterday. I've seen that reported. I said it last night. I heard it last night. I don't think you needed me to report it to you. I think it was pretty obvious as the clock wore down that the Niners were trying to trade out of the first round. Ultimately, they didn't do it. They took Ricky Pearsall, a pick that I like. I think he's a good player. And I got accused by a couple of people, somebody in the chat, somebody on Instagram, like, hey, guy, hey, what pick wouldn't you have liked? I said I like Ricky Pearsall multiple times, including on Tuesday. So I like the Ricky Pearsall pick, okay? I probably would have liked a lot of the receiver picks. I liked a lot of the receivers. I would have liked the center. I said that last night. But Ricky Pearsall was not going to be available in the 60s, let alone in the 50s. My guess, because this is usually how this goes, is everyone says a lot of good receivers out there. And then what happens? The second round starts and receivers start getting drafted. So again, didn't see the Schefter thing, but based on what I just saw, Schrager and Rapsheet, and keep in mind, Schrager and Rapsheet both are, Niner connected. Based on what I just saw both of them say, Aiyuk trade done, done as in it's not happening. And Debo very likely off the table, which is funny news since Debo wasn't on the table. Nobody knew Debo was on the table until maybe it was Diana Rossini yesterday who said, there's a lot of teams open for business in the top 10. And Aiyuk and Debo, I think that's where that one started. So, when we were having this conversation 3 days ago, if you brought up Debo, I would have smacked you down. Would have been like, what are you talking about? But then it became buzzy. And on Friday, here's some of the stuff that's been said on Friday. Okay. This is Michael Silver. He says, this is 9:22 a.m. Friday. He says, play this out. Niners don't trade Debo. They pay Aiyuk. Debo then has a lame duck season in which he watches his successor and the incumbent receiver they chose over him be the focal points of the offense. Seems awkward. I expect a trade. I don't agree with Mike on how awkward that is, first of all. Secondly, who's to say that Ricky Pearsall is going to suddenly get featured in the offense over Debo? So I don't buy this premise. First of all, I don't buy the premise that Debo's on a lame duck season. I know we've been talking about it a ton, and we think like, all right, a year from now, I've talked about it. Here we go. A year from now, he's going to get cut post June 1 designation. And the Niners are going to cut Debo and it'll only be $6 million in dead cap. I know that's what everybody thinks. Maybe 3 people get hurt. Who the hell knows? Maybe they win the Super Bowl and Debo's the MVP. So, these are real conversations. Clearly, I do think, and I said this last night, I get it. Like there is some logic to the idea of if you want it, you can trade Debo, extend Aiyuk now, and the $20+ million dead cap hit you'll take, you can, you're not using, you got space anyway. You do it with Aiyuk, and you do the deal with Aiyuk, and you move the money so you can absorb Debo's cap hit this year. You could do that, but I don't think you need to. So, to see Silver say he expected a trade this morning at 9:22. Now, I don't know if he still feels that way. That was pretty jarring. That's a pretty jarring thing, considering nobody was talking about trading Deebo a couple of days ago. And honestly, what are you getting? A second rounder? You traded him to whatever, Washington? And you're taking a center? You're taking a linebacker? Taking a corner? Maybe not a corner. So we'll see. That was 9:22 a.m. Give Silver, he can tell you what he thinks of 9:22. He's got the right to change his mind. But the part I wanted to address here, the idea that Deebo isn't going to ball out. First of all, he is really valued in that locker room, right? Secondly, if he thought it wasn't a lame duck year, then he'd really be incentivized to ball out. So I'm not buying that. Now, after that, okay, that was this morning. We're just kind of recapping here. Silver later in the day, let me get this up for you guys. Silver later in the day said, regarding a potential Debo Samuel trade, this is 4:00 p.m. I'm an hour ahead of you guys, by the way. It's just throwing me off. He said, so he just said this. All right. It's 5:06 for me. It's 4:06 for you on the West Coast, or it's 8:06, or it's 12:06. I don't know where you are. It's regarding a potential Debo Samuel trade. Right now, there does not appear to be a team that would meet the 49ers asking price tonight. That could obviously change. All it takes is one team, but at this moment, it's quiet. By the way, feel free to tip the picks. We were tipping picks last night. If you weren't here last night, I think I had the Ricky Pearsall trade pick first. I think I was first on Ricky Pearsall. I did see that Belichick was guessing Ricky Pearsall, but I'm pretty sure I was first on Ricky Pearsall. So we'll see if we tip any picks tonight. All right, second round is beginning, but we got some more stuff to talk about here. So that was the Silver tweet. Middle of the day today, go back in time to 12:36 Pacific. Mayoko, okay? He says, if the Niners were to trade Deebo before completing an extension with Aiyuk, it seems that would provide Aiyuk with even more leverage to increase his asking price. And this from Jordan Schultz. What time was this? Do I have a time on this? I don't have the time on this, Jordan Schultz. But Jordan Schultz, I don't know, hour this afternoon, said sources, while the 49ers have listened to calls on Debo Samuel, sources say the Patriots and Bills are considered highly unlikely to trade for him. So that's interesting because I don't know that the Bills, maybe there was somebody that connected the Bills and the Patriots, and so he's refuting that. Maybe he just has, maybe he's got sources in those two places, and so he's just crossing them off the list because he can, because he go, hey, Bills, you guys interested? They say no. They Debo, Patriots, you guys interested? No. I mean, that'd be a hell of a negotiating tactic with Aiyuk. Like, Aiyuk, Brandon, you're going to get the most money. Well, no, you're going to get more money than Debo, okay? But if you want more than just more money than Debo, you're going to send Debo to New England. So I know you got to get yours. But if your boy, just know, we're sending Debo to freezing temperatures, Gerard Mayo and Drake May. Just know. Debo's not going to be Florida, Arizona, San Jose anymore. Okay. Gillette. The best a man could get. Cold as shit. All right. So, that probably doesn't, that's not really Aiyuk's problem. But there's been so much Debo noise that you have to ask the question, why and who is benefiting from this? Like, do the Niners want to trade Debo? Is somebody trying to sow some unrest? Are the Niners sending a message to Debo and Aiyuk? So, yeah, Matt on the stream says, blood on your hands, Aiyuk. I got a text from somebody who has a job working the draft tonight. They said Schultz's tweet was at 2:11 p.m. So to that person, don't you have a job to be doing tonight? But thank you for co-producing the show, this stream. Pearsall. Oh, somebody had a Pearsall comment I wanted to get to. Oh, this is the other thing about a Debo trade or an Aiyuk trade, which I don't think either's happening. Why can't you have Ricky Pearsall on the team too? Like, one of the reasons we talked about it leading up to the draft, let's make sure I'm not, talking out both sides of my mouth. One of the reasons I didn't have receiver very high on my list was because, which is the way people say because when they're being a little annoying, because you go, how many targets are you going to get? Right now, the beauty of Ricky, who looks like I saw photos of him arriving at Levi's today. I think him and McCaffrey could go shopping together. The beauty of Ricky Pearsall is he doesn't need 8 targets. Now, maybe there'll be a game where he gets 8, but he doesn't need 8. Dude runs routes. He's where he's supposed to be. He catches the ball. So, there was a guy named Ray McLeod on the team last year, and was a pretty important player to the 49ers. We forget about him. Somebody made that comment last night on the live stream. It was a very good comment. They thought of it before I did. So I don't remember who it was, but credit to you for saying, wait a second, you got to replace Ray. And then maybe next year, everyone's like, you're replacing Deebo. Yeah, maybe replacing Juwan Jennings. Maybe you're keeping Jennings and Debo's guy. I don't know. But I really like the player. Is he the 30? Should he be 31? No, they didn't want to draft him 31. But now they did. They got a good player. They tried to trade out. They couldn't. It was important how he refused to fall on the muff punt. Comment, Debo stays with the Niners this year in BA. Debo and JJ gone next year. Trail with a compliment. Bill's on the clock right now, by the way. Earl Trail with a compliment. He says, hold on, let me read a compliment because it's actually I want to talk about something else from last night. It says, this was the best coverage last night. Glad you're back for more. I mean, that's nice of you to say. Belichick was also talking. I watched some Belichick clips. He was excellent. The other guy's excellent. I thought I didn't watch. It's different when you watch in full, but I thought CJ Stroud. I just saw some of the slick Ricky clips. CJ Stroud was distraught when the Niners got Pearsall and really liked him. So I was texting with Middlecoff today. He made a good point too. He's like, CJ Stroud knows what it looks like. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., Tank Dell, Nico Collins. He knows what it looks like. As we wait on the Bills, the Bills better do something sweet here because they let Kansas City move up for Xavier Worthy yesterday. But the other thing I want to mention was something else I heard today about last night, which was, and you could have guessed this. the Raiders really wanted Jane Daniels, really tried to get up to get Jane Daniels, which, was impossible. If Washington had taken Drake May, then New England would have been open for business with Jane Daniels sitting there at 3, and the Raiders would have tried to go up for him. But once they lost out on Jane Daniels, they then really wanted Michael Penix. And, they have no quarterbacks, and the Falcons have 2 now. So, tough break for the Raiders. Gain here in the chat says Keon Coleman. I don't know if that's a prediction, if Gain is reporting that, or if that's been out there. Let me get back to our guy. I think Thursday was mostly Breer and Schultz that were tipping picks. And yeah, this is a report. Jordan Schultz, Keon Coleman with the 33rd pick. So that's a pretty sweet pick. Like I said it last night, I'll say it again. My prediction was, we'll see if this will hold up, that the Ricky Pearsall pick would look better once the second round gets going. This is where all the receivers start going. So we'll see if that actually happens. Keon Coleman, I think a good fit in Buffalo, but does this eliminate Buffalo? I guess Schultz already eliminated them anyway. Buffalo considered highly unlikely, but I think we can further eliminate Buffalo. So now let's look at New England for Debo. Arizona won't be an option at 3, and then we'll look at Washington. Peters knows him, and he's got 2 picks to play with here. Would the Niners trade Debo for 36? Put it this way, if the Niners are open for business on Debo, then 36 is good value. But it's just value on paper. It's not a player. Okay. If there's a player you like at 36, like a player you really have targeted at 36, a player that you're like, oh my God, we'd be willing to trade Deebo for Zach Frazier, and he's sitting there at 30 or whatever. I don't know. Then that's a good trade. Like that is a good trade. That is a good trade. I got a lot of this last night. People saying I like the Pearsall pick. The more I hear about him, I don't know why was everybody so pissed about the Pearsall. Not everybody. For the people that didn't like it? I guess the thing was an overdraft. But they wanted Cooper DeJean, who hasn't been drafted. So it doesn't mean that would have been an overdraft. Yeah. Look, I said this the other day. I'm happy to answer questions about why my voice sounds like this. I had vocal cord surgery 5 weeks ago, 6, whatever, 5.5. So it's better every day. Although today it's probably about the same as yesterday because I used it a lot yesterday, and so and got no sleep. And so we'll see what tonight looks like because got this Colorado Spring game tomorrow. But yeah, I just don't want to. It's not the content. It's not the content. But I'm happy to share. But yeah, improving. John B says they aren't trading Debo. You don't have to trade Debo to get back into the top of the second round. So let's just say the Niners wanted 36. Okay. What would they have to trade to get from 63, which is where they are now, to 36? They would have to trade 60. They'd have to trade their second. They'd have to trade their third. And boy, they'd have to trade probably a third next year. That'd be my guess on the cost of that. So if you want to move up that high, I think you'd have to go a 2. This year's 2, this year's 3, and next year's 3. Which, when you say it out loud, feels rich. Chargers. Come on, NFL.com. Your draft tracker's not updating. I'm going to have to go. Don't make me go back to CBS Sports. Oh, this. All right. CBS Sports draft tracker. What are the Chargers? So, Chargers, Pats. They move back 3 spots for a 4th. Okay. And a 5th goes one way, a 4th goes the other way. Oh, well, this one's not up. Oh, here we go. No, that one's not updated either. Now it's updated. All right. Yeah. CBS Sports, good tracker. Anyway, John B., you're right. You don't have to do that. Sandra still? Is Harbaugh going to come up and take his guy? That's my guess. Sandra still. That's what I'm going with. Although you never know with Jim. Like, was Jim off taking a bunch of Stanford guys when he got the Niners job? Not really. I mean, him and Sean, part of it was he didn't get along. Like, him did not get along. Everyone's sitting around just waiting for Rowan Gartner. By the way, speaking of, McConkey. I saw Mayoko, Lad McConkey, receiver, Georgia. I saw Mayoko tweeted today that he talked to a longtime and current NFL scout, and that guy guaranteed him that Lad McConkey would turn out to be a better player than Ricky Pearsall. McConkey, wow. All right, Harbaugh guy. I'm looking at the scouting report here. It says he's juicy. I don't know what that means, but all right, who's on the clock now? Arizona. This is a big pick. Any of these divisional picks are big picks. Let's get a little McConkey scouting report, though. Other than, I know this thing's going to say he didn't get cut like 4 touchdowns. They've got his 2022 stats on the screen because he caught a bunch of touchdowns that year. McConkey, almost 6 feet, 186 pounds. Team captain. He did miss 5 games this year, only had 2 touchdowns, missed 5 games with a back and an ankle, multiple injuries. I mean, he's going to be good for Herbert. I'm telling you, these is so far, I'm right. So far, I said what I said last night. You draft Ricky Pearsall because you're not going to be able to get him in the second round. That's the guy you like, get him, because receivers are just, this is what happens now. This is the way it's been going for several years. Receivers just start going. So back-to-back receivers. Harbaugh last night, quote, why did you take Joe Alt over the receivers? Quote, I know the question's going to come up about weapons. We look at the offensive linemen as weapons. Maniac, also good point. Okay. Arizona just feels like they've got their pick of a couple guys that people felt like are first round defensive backs. So Commanders at 36, right? I think we can pretty much slam the door on an Aiyuk trade, but Washington, this would be an intriguing team. Niners don't pick to the end of this round. Then there's 2 more rounds. Not gonna lie. Probably I went 4 hours plus on the stream last night. That's probably not happening tonight. But we're not in a rush here. We are hanging. Falcons on the clock. Falcons traded. Everybody's trade. All these trades that people thought were going to happen in the first round. WeWork. This show today brought to you by WeWork, Boulder, Colorado. Beautiful day today. I talked to one long-time former NFL coach today, former head coach, who said he understood why he's like, I don't think it was, he's like, hear me out. I don't think it was as crazy as everybody else does. He's like, in a year, maybe. He's just your guy. Well, they're not going receiver here. I think we know that. But this, I just feel like I'm so behind today. I really wasn't even going to fire it up this early, and then, all the stuff going on with Debo. I'm like, I better be here. Rook Aurora, Clemson, defensive tackle. Falcons fans. Not a lot of jerseys to buy for the Falcons fan. They're not, which is, you shouldn't, it's not about selling jerseys, but they just don't have them. 6'4", 294, fifth-year senior from Nigeria, Rook Aurora. Youngest of 7. Went from Nigeria to England. His mother died when he was 6. Family moved to the U.S. when he was 9. I've got the beast here in front of me, as it's known. All right. That's fine. I said yesterday, one thing just to watch opponent-wise in this draft is you watch division, you watch schedule. Division schedule. Niners won't play Rook unless they meet him in the playoffs. Bears, Cowboys. Here's the Niners home games next year. Bears, Cowboys, Lions, Chiefs. Bears, Cowboys, Lions, Chiefs. Patriots, Jets. Road games, Bills, Packers, Dolphins, Vikings, Bucks. Some good quarterbacks. Be interesting, there's so many primetime game opportunities there. I mean, all right, you got the Rams, you got the Seahawks. I guess they could be a Thursday night or a Cardinals Thursday night. That happens a lot. But outside of that, could the Bears be a primetime game? If you put it early in the year, yes. Niners, big deal. Caleb, big deal. Cowboys, duh. Lions, duh. Chiefs, duh. Jets with Rodgers, double duh. Patriots, no. At the Bills, yes. At the Packers, yes. At the Dolphins, yes. At the Vikings, at the Bucks, no. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 non-divisional primetime candidates by my count for the 49ers. Then you add to it probably divisional Thursday. Yeah, it's just, obviously there's a limit, but it's an incredible run next year. And you could make the case if you're Kyle, hey, I I can't. Debo doesn't beat the Chiefs. I need a guy that helps me beat Debo. What am I keeping him for? What am I paying for if we go play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and he doesn't give me anything? And what I would say that I'm not saying that's what Kyle and John Lynch are thinking, but if you're thinking that way, as I think some of you are, my response is, how'd you get to the Super Bowl? When the guy doesn't play, you lose. Who gets hurt? That's not good. But you're clearly a big part of being a championship team is Deebo. He doesn't play, you lose. He doesn't play, your yards per play go down by 2. I'm not saying you get to keep him forever, but some of you are just trying to rush him out the door. And I think it's dangerous. I think it's really dangerous. Sanjay says, Guy, you sound like Scotty Farrell. I sound like a lot of people. Comment from Scruffy Do. I've seen a few smart people who mocked Ricky to the end of the first round, but I do think the Niners were pretty obviously trying to trade back and couldn't. Agreed. They were. I am telling you that I know they were trying to trade back. Let's start with that. Okay. Not because I read it on Twitter, although I think Breer tweeted it. But I know they were trying. I have heard that's what they were trying to do. Now, you don't need me to tell you. I'm not pretending like that's some scoop. When a team takes that long to pick, with the third pick or the first pick, you go, they just dragged it out. When they take that long to pick at 31, they're trying to make a move. And John Lynch was on the phone for a lot of that time. So, yeah. Washington, then New England, then Tennessee. I mean, isn't this the spot, right? This is one of the theory. This is one of the scenarios. Now, I don't think Aiyuk's getting traded today. You need somebody that can help you right away, which means he needs to get traded like the top. You need a potential star that can help you right away, which means he needed to get traded in the top, 20. He didn't. So he's not getting traded. Now Washington's pick is in. So they're not using 2 picks to acquire Brandon Aiyuk. We can put that theory to bed. Johnny Newton, defensive tackle, Illinois. So Adam Peters kind of taking the Niners philosophy over to Washington. And trying to build from the inside out. Jerzon is his given name, but goes by Johnny. From Florida, where, as Coach Prime told me today, they're just different. Everybody's different. They raise them different in Florida. I've not talked to Deion Sanders before. Today was the first time. And it was really great, honestly. It was lovely. Lovely is the word I would use. All right. You gotta get a selfie on the stage. Tennessee up. I mean, talk about boring. Now, would Tennessee trade for Deebo? Rand Carthen, the general manager there, formerly with the Niners, they tried to duplicate Deebo with Treylon Burks. He needed, it turned out, an inhaler to get through training camp. So I guess you could, but again, I don't think it's happening. And watching the guys at the beginning of the draft coverage, they seem to really pull back on the Debo trade stuff. I do wonder if there's going to be any lingering effects. The press conference last night, which I watched on the plane this morning. Listen to this. Jalen Polk to the Patriots. Good player. Again, like receiver. Okay. No shocker here, people. Next year, when the second round starts, tell your buddies, all the receivers are getting drafted. Coleman, McConkey, and now Polk. That's 3 receivers in the first 5 picks of the second round. What were we talking about? Deebo. The press conference. So I watched the press conference last night. The press conference was last night. I watched it today on the plane. I dropped $8 on my Wi-Fi. I went to bed at 1, fell asleep at 2, woke up at 4 o'clock. One of those announcers schedules Twitter pages should tweet about me today. Guy worked Wednesday, and then he worked Thursday, and then he worked Friday. Like the rest of the world? What a hero. I'm kidding. It involves travel when when the broadcasters do it. It's cool. Like a guy does a baseball game and then a football game, and then Joe Buck takes a trolley across the bay to Candlestick. So people were not happy that day. People were not happy. I'm not dogging Herbie. If somebody said don't dog Herbie, I'm not dogging Herbie. So anyway, went to bed at 2, got up at 4, flight at 5:30. Now I like to arrive for a flight 10 minutes before boarding. I arrived 5 o'clock board. I arrived at TSA pre-check at 4:50. Line was as long as I've ever seen it. Even the clear line was longer than I've ever seen it. Luckily I had clear, made it all good. Get on the plane, could not sleep. That's the point of this. I got 2 hours of sleep last night. I got on the plane. I thought I would knock out. Could not sleep. Okay. The double shot espresso yesterday. We've got here at this WeWork, we've got cold brew on tap. They've got kombucha on tap, which I'm not going to have, but I had the cold brew on tap. And they got ice water with the really good small beads of ice. Went and saw Colorado practice, had meetings with the coaches, then went Nate and then came here. I started this story for a reason, and all you got then was me just talking about myself, which is stupid. And so here's the thread. Let's go back to the actual topic. I watched the press conference on the plane. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were very clear that they were open for business. Now, they both said, we don't expect anything to happen. But they were very clear that they were open for business. And, I do wonder, is there any lingering effect? The only way there's not a lingering effect is if they told Debo, hey, man, listen, we're not trading you. But there's going to be some bullshit out there. And ignore it. Okay? If they told him that ahead of time, then fine. Otherwise, I'd be a little perturbed if I were Debo Samuel. And I know, hey, man, we pay you, blah, blah, blah. But just that's a human being thing. If I were Debo and I just said, man, shut up, I'm not going anywhere. And then after I said that or tweeted that or whatever, everybody spent like 2 days talking about how I might get traded. And then when confronted with it, my front office was like, yeah, maybe. Everybody's available. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's human for Debo to be annoyed. Titans on the clock. I'm just saying it's human. And I wonder if they have any sort of repairing to do. By the way, I owe an apology. Last night, in hour 4, into the 4th hour of doing a live stream, after I had the great guest on, I I was like, all right, everybody, thanks, goodbye. Shut it down. There were some super chats that I missed, so I apologize for the super chats. Murray asked, any word on that Zay Jones trade? Still waiting for the Jags to package Zay Jones for Brandon Aiyuk. Somebody just asked if I saw a Diana Rossini tweet. No. Did you see Diana Rossini's tweet about Debo speaking a few minutes ago? No, I don't. I'm on Diana Rossini's Twitter. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I did. Thank you. I spoke to Debo Samuel on the phone, asked his reaction to the Niners drafting his potential replacement and to the reports that they explored trading him. I know what's going on, but it is what it is. I'm good staying with them. I'm chilling. Guys, I like Ricky Pearsall. This is an important message here. Okay. Thank you, Kenny Sharman, on the chat for producing a little bit. Everyone gets to be a producer here. You get to be a producer when you give me good intel in the chat. You get to be a sponsor when you like the video, when you subscribe. I'm not even saying when you super chat. I'm not even throwing out my Venmo. Okay. I'm just saying when you hit the like button and when you subscribe, that's not true. I will be throwing out my Venmo, but for a different reason. Makes you kind of a sponsor when so thank you. The reason I will be throwing out a Venmo soon is somebody just asked, now I lost it. When can you get the hat? So, they're coming. We coming, to quote Coach Prime with the hats. We coming. This is a prototype. This is not going to be it. I have a very high standard for quality control. I really could have. I still could. We'll see. I thought about selling this hat for like $25. And it's a solid hat. Like it's a common brand. It's got a little stretch. You go to a lot of golf shops, you'll buy this hat. I don't love it, is what I would say. I don't love it. I would rather sell a hat that I love for like 40, 45 than a hat that I think you won't love for 25. Because that's how I would operate. That said, it's not bad. Like we did a good job on this. It came out good for what it is. We're just going to explore some other options and kind of see. So soon-ish, my hope actually initially was to start selling those this weekend, but we're not going to do that yet. I interrupted myself again. Okay. This is important. I like the Ricky Pearsall pick. Okay. But this idea that like now Debo's replacement is here. Debo Samuel has helped drag the 49ers to multiple NFC championship games. He has at times single-handedly won football games. Do you know how hard it is to single-handedly win football games? Now, I love Ricky Pearsall as much as the next guy. But this whole like, and I just said, if I were Debo, there'd be some relationships to repair. But here's what do not start assuming like, well, Debo's replacement's here. Let's just watch football. I'm excited for Ricky Pearsall. I'm looking forward to seeing him in camp. Maybe he'll get some GFF grades. Maybe he'll get some good GFF grades. I think he's going to contribute. But there is a massive gap, okay, between contribute and replace Debo Samuel. Let's just be very clear about that. If there's one thing, and we'll see what else happens tonight, we can keep talking about it. But if there's one thing that I want you to take away from the first 50 minutes of this stream, it's that. Yeah, Debo has the right, I think. Not the right, just it would be normal for him to be a little annoyed. Guys, what's the deal? Now, personally, I don't think they have enough. They can't have too much receivers. I think it's great the number of receivers they have. So I don't even think you got to look at it like a replacement. But that said, I get it if you're looking at it that way. I'll believe he replaces Debo Samuel when he replaces Debo Samuel. But last I checked, Debo's been pretty irreplaceable. Now he gets hurt. He's expensive. Didn't play well in the Super Bowl. Got locked up. Can't separate down the field in a go ball. By the way, there's nobody else like him. So just, it's right. It is. That was good reporting by Diana to ask Debo the question. But let's not get carried away with they drafted his replacement. Look, if they thought he was Debo's replacement, they wouldn't have tried to trade the spot out for 8 minutes. Okay? They like the player. They think he's a good player. They think he's a useful player. They think he's got a high floor. He's going to contribute right away. They think he's athletic. I think it's a good chance he's on the Niners for many years. I think he's good. If they thought he was Debo's replacement, they wouldn't have taken 8 minutes to draft him. The odds are he's not Debo's replacement, which can be fine. You can be a really good player. Hell, you can be a Pro Bowler and not be Debo Samuel's replacement. So let's just let the record show for several months, everybody's been just, since the Super Bowl, oh, Debo jogged. Oh, Debo can't separate on Trent McDuffie. Oh, he didn't catch a 50-50 ball. Oh, I don't know. To quote Dave Chappelle, for those of you listening, you couldn't see that I just did a mic thing like Chappelle always does. Hits himself in the chest at something funny that he says with the microphone. He'll deal with next year's salary cap next year. What do the Titans do? Tavondre Sweat, defensive lineman, Texas. Rams are on the clock. Yes, the Niners pick does feel like 2 DoorDash orders away. All right. I got a mic stand here, but I've been enjoying holding this microphone. And then the Commanders will be up. Rams pick is in. Sorry, I've been slacking. But this is a mix of the live stream and the podcast. Braden Fisk to the Rams. So, I mean, they're trying to replace Aaron Donald. They're trying to replace Aaron Donald, and that's a tall task. But, yeah, so they go defensive tackle. All right. Brandon Dorlus still on the board. You got to start thinking about, who do you like for the Niners 6 hours from now? Can we skip ahead to that pick? Eric, how about we give Purdy more than 0.43 seconds to throw the ball? Oh, Fisk highlights. Ned says the Niners can move up soon. Well, let's take a look at what that would look like. So if you're the Niners and you want to move up, you probably don't want to give up your third. You'd like to give up one of your 4 you like to give up one of your 3/4 or do some sort of swap, right? So if they want to get up from 63, their most valuable fourth is the 124th overall pick. That's the 24th pick of the 4th round. If they were to package that pick with the 63rd pick, that would get them to about 25, 23. I mean, 323. That wouldn't get them very far. That would get them up from 63 to like 57. If they want to go higher, let's say package 2/4, let's just say 124 and 132, that will get them to about 55. That's a long way away still. Now, we're just throwing out numbers. Oh my God, guy. Why did they take Ricky Pearsall? Overdraft. Cooper DeJean. I still can't get it right. He was just sitting there. If they had drafted, here's what's funny. There's all these mock drafts. Everyone looks at all the mock drafts. In the mock drafts, the corner/safety from Iowa was in a lot of first rounds, right around 31, sometimes higher. But that's where he was, okay? If the Niners had drafted him, people would be like, oh, great pick, bro. Corner, position in need. Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean. And no one would have known that he'd been overdrafted. And maybe what it means is not that Ricky Pearsall was overdrafted, and it wouldn't have meant that Cooper DeJean would have been overdrafted. It just means that when you run out of first-round talents, the guys at 31 are kind of like the guys at 37. That's all. The guys at 31 are like the guys at 37. I'm getting all these texts that I'm late on. Eagles with little trade ski. All right. It's, when I play a home game, I've got the big 27-inch monitor next to the 16-inch computer. It's, big at the mouse. And when you go to hunched over see, everyone's going to hate this now. I ranted at the wrong time. Cooper DeJean going to the Eagles. Well, we'll see how that plays out. Good pick. Philly's going to love that pick. Shane Gillis will be watching this very closely. Is Cooper a corner? If he is, Shane Gillis is going to have to update his act. He's going to have to update his material. He does a whole bit about how white cornerbacks are an extinct species. Like he has to explain to people that they used to exist. So that's 2 corners for Philly, which is good for them. I mean, that's good for them. Now we're waiting on Green Bay. Okay. Houston, Arizona. I'm 44. What is Tommy Telesco going to do at 44? I'm just happy the Niners didn't trade back yesterday. Raiders wanted a quarterback. They didn't get one yesterday. Is there even a second-round quarterback? Does that guy exist? It feels like there's not another quarterback till like the 4th round. I mean, Who am I missing? Somebody? Let's see. Oh, Spencer Rattler. So that is probably, you could go in this round. Who would take him? Would the Raiders take Spencer Rattler? Please. Yes. Do that. It's way too high. Feels like something for later. And let me go to the third round. I'm just curious, like in the third round, who would take Spencer Rattler in the third round? Not New York. Jets. Falcons. Seattle. John Schneider. He's got an eye for quarterbacks. Like, if it turns out that he just likes the guy, he could do that. All right. Let me get back to the second round here. The Saints got Kool-Aid. Okay. Jackie. Let me go back to this tracker. It's kind of wild how nobody wants a running back. Yes. And yet how valuable the Niners running back is. I mean, there might not be a running back in this round either. Maybe Jonathan Brooks. Maybe. But that kind of feels like it. You know, a lot of mocks I saw, I think it was David Lombardi, maybe it was Barrows, one of them in the Athletic, had Isaac Guerendo to the Niners as a Niner pick. Late. And it was interesting because remember there was that tweet where one of the draft analysts, I forget who, I don't remember who it was, but somebody who's been around the draft a long time said, Isaac Guerendo, intriguing Niners, and then got deleted. And when it got deleted, it was just an alert to everybody like, oh, this guy, yeah, we like this guy. So that's one to watch. There's some solid running backs in this draft that are going to go late or mid. Bucky Irving is interesting. He runs hard. Marshawn Lloyd runs hard, but I mean, the Niners aren't drafting him, you would think. All right. New Orleans pick is in. Houston's up next. You know what? This is actually, I think, a good time. And then we can get to this question from Jay. So Jay, I'm going to star that. I'm going to get back to it. Jaden DeLaura to the Raiders. Love that pick. Kool-Aid to the Saints. Is the chat like just having a trustworthy Friday night? I'm used to my big monitor. I got to click all over the place here tonight to look something up. Kool-Aid, attaboy. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate that. Speech here. Look, I don't know. Can I load up my commercial break from last night? This is a good spot for me to go get some more water. Maybe a light snack. I'm going to take a little break. We're hour and 5 minutes into the stream. Still a ways away from the Niners. Pick. Maybe I'll get some bubbly. Maybe I'll get some kombucha. Not really a big kombucha guy. Maybe I'll get some cold brew. I mean, they got it all here. WeWork. It's fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to step away right now for a second. Let me see if I can, for those of you that missed it last night, yesterday I made a commercial. And a commercial, not really a commercial. I made this video, but I don't know if it'll load here.
Up. I am Guy.
Yeah, it might be a little laggy. Let's see here.
Hey, what's up? I am Guy from earlier. Live Guy.
Hello, was that pretty laggy? I think it's pretty laggy. Yeah, let's kill this before it damages everything. It was good though. Go back and watch that thing last night. I just want to make sure I'm not missing. You guys have so many good chat questions here, and I don't want to miss them, but they're coming in fast and furious. Okay, I'm going to step away for a second, go get some water, refuel. I'll be right back. Hold on. This guy will entertain you for a few. Okay. It turns out that just walking away and leaving it empty makes a lot of people leave. You got to do what you got to do. A mental health break. That's what I just did. All right. What have you guys been talking about? Give me some news. Who was refuting? That's a problem. Just overflowed a beverage. Quick break. I'll be right back. Big problem. All right, y'all. Wow. You know what's funny is I was talking to anybody. I opened a beverage and it burst everywhere. Ooh. Okay. Couple things. This is the does that work? No, never mind. All right, let's catch up here. Let's get back on track, everybody. So somebody asked a question that I want to address, but let's just do a quick little check. Max Melton saw that JPJ to the Raiders, good pick by them. Jackson Powers Johnson. Linebacker Adrian Cooper, A&M to the Packers. Jonathan Brooke, hey, we had a running back. All right, goes to the Panthers. So I think it's a great pick by the Panthers because somebody asked earlier in this chat, and I started, what JC, what position do you think the Niners pick next? And I in my head, I saw that before I left, and I'm like, all right, let's think about this. Well, I'm refilling this water and pounding some sun chips. Zach Frazier's the guy. Okay. Now, the good news for that, I think if you look at the teams that might draft Zach Frazier, I think Carolina was one of them, and they didn't take him. So Carolina was one. That's good. I think another team that might take Zach Frazier is Pittsburgh, at 51. So I keep an eye on them now. We got a ways to go still to get the Niners, Zach Frazier at 63. I texted my buddy Jeff Schwartz and I said, who would take Rosengarten before the Niners? You're not going to like his response. His response was, he will be there. He's a tad like McGlinchey, so he doesn't think anybody else would take him ahead of where the Niners have him. Potentially. A lot of smoke on Rosengarten. But to answer the question, what would you do next? JC, I would say Frazier. I mean, you really could go a lot of directions. You could go, I mean, you could do anything, really. You could go offensive line. You could go defensive line. You could go secondary. You wouldn't go receiver. You shouldn't go running back. You could go just positionally. Let's look at the board. I mean, you could go, I think you could go linebacker just in terms of like what you actually need. Know whether or not there's a good enough player there. See, what's funny is like people wanted A.D. Mitchell. People wanted the Niners to take A.D. Mitchell at 31. If they had, you're like, oh, okay, nice. Well, they take Ricky Pearsall. Some say overdrafted, and then a bunch of receivers get drafted, and A.D. Mitchell's still on the board. Maybe Ricky Pearsall would still be on the board. My guy Cole Bishop might be there, but you don't need to draft a safety. I like Cole Bishop, people. Not Jatavian Sanders. Not a running back. I mean, you could go maybe. There might be a pass rusher there. But I don't love that. Second round edge guys. Oh, the linebacker. What did somebody say the other day? Peyton Wilson? Like, I think the quote was, maybe I was talking to Kruger. The quote was like, well, he's not going to make it to a second contract, but he's a hell of a player. So I would have liked Frazier at 31, which obviously would have been crazy. Ricky clearly wasn't going to get past Houston. Well, are we sure about that? Like, Houston drafted at 59. So I don't think Ricky Pearsall was going to get to 59, first of all. I think Ricky Pearsall might have been drafted by now, and if not, hell, Cincinnati might. But Pittsburgh could take him, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's one way to interpret the CJ Stroud thing, was just that CJ thought they were going to take him. And maybe that's true. Maybe they were going to take him. Maybe they just liked him. He's just like, that's a sweet player. Yeah, I guess he maybe wanted him. I just don't. They got a lot of receivers, but so do the Niners. So it would have been fine. Comment, Pearsall was rated around 40 on a lot of big boards. Yeah, I mean, they overdrafted a productive player, and not by much. So it was a good. I like the pick, and I know this Quachipto. You're not arguing, but he'd be going right about now. Mark 187 has got a list. Linebacker Cedric Gray, North Carolina. Javon Foster, Mizzou. Bo Limmer. That's his list. You can throw your list in. Throw your list in if you want. Bo Limmer, Arkansas. Well, give me Frazier. We're drafting centers now. The thing I like about Frazier, I'm not going to take credit. I asked Jeff Schwartz last night on the stream. He came on the stream. And I said, which center, Jackson Powers Johnson or Zach Frazier for the Niners? And he said Zach Frazier, better scheme fit. Yeah, you got him you got the 5th-year option on him. Hopefully it's a good pick. And you're happy. The interesting thing is I think the Niners, they can roll with Brendel again. Sean, I think fans think they need another corner a lot more than the front office does. Ward, Rock Yassin, Lenore, you could do a lot worse. I mean, that might be a good take. We've talked about it a lot. They have 2 corners they really like. That's more than most. They invested in I've not nailed his name yet. Isaac Yiadom. They invested in him. So, and fans, you can't say that the corners suck and that Darrell Luter's about to be a breakout star. Can't say both. All right, you want me to go to the best available board? Let's see. 80 Mitchell, Ennis Rakestraw, cornerback from Missouri. It feels like an offensive line pick for the Niners. Where's Cole Bishop going to go? Where's Cole Bishop going to go? Let's see who the Commanders take. They're on the clock. They got 2 picks coming up. Is it too early for Cole Bishop? The other place Cole Bishop could go, the Chiefs could draft Cole Bishop at 64. Safety, Utah. Chiefs could do a lot of things. I'm going to predict that right now. I'm going to predict the Chiefs take Cole Bishop. Okay. Let's go back to tipping some picks here because this is moving too slowly for me. All right. Defensive tackles are going. Chris Jenkins, Bengals. Let's see what Washington does. Washington's been trading back and trading back and trading back. They could go receiver. Although, I don't know if Adam Peters would want AD Mitchell. Let's find out here. So, I think it's safe to say Deebo's not getting traded. Knock on wood if you're so inclined. Weird deal, man. It's a weird deal. Every year, it's always something. It's always something weird. And this is not nothing. If it had just been Aiyuk and then they sign him to a deal, there'd be no hard feelings. Why would there be hard feelings? You want a contract. This is negotiation. This is the way it works. No biggie. So for 48 hours, you got in Debo's dome. I mean, is it going to change anything? Probably not. Is it going to motivate him? He plays hard. I think he was banged up in the Super Bowl. I attribute a lot of the effort stuff to that, maybe some frustration. Him not catching that 50-50 ball in the end zone, he just doesn't win on that play. I can't wait to go to camp and see if Ricky Pearsall is catching deep balls. Because it seems like watching the Niners talk last night that they think of him as more than just a slot receiver. They think he can move outside. And because of his, he's got, low 4.4 speed. Because of his speed, he can win. And that's what we were told last night. Sanders still, Michigan, Mike, cornerback, 0. That's his number. All right, this is the moment here. If you want Zach Frazier, this CBS thing does not have center listed. There's a need for the Steelers. But it's a need for the Steelers. I don't know what, I'm a little surprised. Let me check the old PFF here. See where Nate Herbig, who's their center right now, graded out. Spencer Rattler's going to be interesting. No, I don't. Is this going to be Frazier? Are the Steelers going to dash our hopes here? Let me get some center grades. See who else could use a center. PFF. There we go. Oh, yeah. Folks, this could be it. I know a lot of you in the chat are holding out for Zach Frazier. I think this is the moment. You got to get right. You got to get past the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Let's keep an eye out. I'm going to go who am I going to go? I'm going to go Schultz. Keep losing that. Boy, if he lasts here, all right. Let's hang in there, everybody. This is a moment. Make some noise. People are telling me. I feel good. Oh no. The chat's saying the chat beat Jordan Schultz to this one. Oh no. Say it ain't so. I haven't seen Schultz tweet it yet. You guys, you're all telling me Frazier's. All right, I'll believe you. I'm glad I said it. I'm glad I warned you. I'm glad I was on that one at least. Breer tweeted it. All right. Wow, that was a ride. Wanted him. Jan says, I wanted Wirfs. I wanted Creed Humphrey. I wanted Zach Frazier, just so you know. Son of a gun. I mean, what would it have taken for the Niners? Who knows? If Washington would have done it to get to 50, what would they have had to trade to get that far? They would have had to trade to get ahead of Pittsburgh. 276. They would have had to trade their third. Yeah, they would have to trade their third. I mean, their second and their third. They would have had to trade 63 and 94. Maybe. Maybe Washington was like, now we like Sandra Still, whatever. This is the guy. But that would have made sense. Like, would you have been willing to trade 63 and 94 for a center when you think, you could live with your center and you're going to do something else in the third round? Are they, here's the other thing. Are they not going to take Luke McCaffrey anymore? Everybody was so juiced up for Luke McCaffrey. I don't think you can take another receiver. I mean, somebody asked in the chat earlier, like, now Ronnie Bell and Danny Gray are battling for position. I mean, yeah. But I think the Luke McCaffrey dream is dead, guys. Brendan Rice. I think the Brendan Rice dream is dead too. God, that's brutal. That hurts, man. That hurts. Baby Gore and the Owens kid, undrafted. Yeah. I saw T.O. today. He was at Colorado football practice. Saw T.O. and Warren Sapp today. Warren Sapp is on the coaching staff. All right. Somebody in here earlier. I think they're just going to take the offensive line they like the most at this point. That's what the pick feels like. Should the Colts take like right here? John B. This is why people laugh at Niners fans. Most spoiled fan base in sports. LOL. Casey getting angry. Don't get angry. John B. You're a clown. I think every fan base is like this. I think where they're just like hate all the players, but love them. I don't know. It's just like being like newsflash. The GM wants to run half the players out too. Not John Lynch, but just in general. They want to get somebody else. AD finally gone to the Colts? Thank you, chat, for that. Shane, here's the deal. You give good intel, you become a trusted agent in the chat. Niners take who they like best, no matter the positional need or expert ranking. Agree with them or not, they have a process they stick to. Yeah, but that's, I don't know. They don't go BPA, best player available, generally. They do draft for need as opposed to just the best player on the board. But I don't think you're arguing with that. I think this comment is more saying that you're saying you think they're independent thinkers, I think. People are saying only 5 rounds of draftable players this year. What are the undrafted free agents going to look like this year? Seems like the Niners find a couple of gems every year. Yeah, I mean, maybe the gems you usually find in the 5th round, you have to get in the 3rd round, and the guys you usually get in the 7th, you have to get in the 5th, and the undrafted guy, you got to get. Man, it's tough. 80 Mitchell looks kind of bummed, but he's going to. Yeah, he was hoping he's drafted 52nd. That's a great accomplishment, But I just saw the clip of him and his family. And, he probably had everybody over to the house last night. And you bring them back out today. And then you see, your teammates are getting drafted ahead of you. Guys you think you're better than. Generally, I'd say, going to Indy, solid org. But are they going to be able to throw the football? We'll see. So, man, it's fine. It's whatever. I mean, but I'm just watching him like he's, he wants to be happy, but he's also a little bit bummed, which is, we I think can all identify with that feeling sometimes. Sean says the 49ers are going to run it back with the same O-line. 100% they're going to do that. Lights have started going off here at the WeWork. Yeah, even if they draft a guy, they might run it back with the same O-line. Okay, so we gotta reset ourselves here. They lost out on Zach Frazier. So who do we like next? I'm going to say that, the Rosengarten thing is so it's, Chris Forster went up to Washington to watch him work out, or he was watching Troy Fatanu work out. But there have been a few things about the Niners. Aiyuk trade, Debo trade, that have not come to fruition. So with that in mind, let's not pick Rosengarten. Let's target Houston's Patrick Paul, who is a monster of a human being. By the way, have you noticed that some people were hyping BYU's Kingsley Suamataia, Kingsley Suamataia, and Jeff Short said, no, don't do that. Patrick Paul, 6'7", 331 pounds, from Houston, Texas. His grandfather was the major general and president of Nigeria in 1966. 3-star recruit, 3 games redshirted, got hurt in 2020, second year, comes back in 21 as basically you get a free year. So it's basically a third-year freshman. And his first team all AAC, then he's first team all AAC. Then Houston moves from the AAC to the Big 12. And he is first team all Big 12 and a team captain. He's probably not ready to replace Colton McKivitz this year. But as I said yesterday, kind of like with Debo, I don't want to say I'm higher on McKivitz than you guys, but I mean, if you could upgrade. But whatever, yeah, Frazier's off the board. I know. I called that one about 6 picks before. The Panthers passed. I said, all right, Panthers or Steelers. He's got to get past the Steelers. He did not get past the Steelers. Any good centers coming out in 25? I'm going to be honest with you. I have no earthly idea. Hold on. $1:00 tomorrow on the Pac-12 network. That's where Colorado's spring game will be. Roy says, O-line would sure be nice at some point. You mean in the draft or an O-line? It's not going to be a tight end. Oh, Washington took Ben Sinnott. I kind of like this guy. Sinnott, let's watch these highlights. Sinnott is a tight end, plays tight end, but he wears 34. So it makes him look more like a fullback. He is, I don't know that he's as athletic. He's a little thicker, I think, than Juszczyk, but to me, he's kind of juice-ish. I'll be interested to see, is he a true? Yeah, I liked him. I think he would have worked because he gets his he gets his nose dirty, but he makes some athletic plays. They just showed a couple of them in the highlight reel, which is the same one you can see on YouTube. But I like that pick. But that said, and this is what I talked about with my buddy Evan Moore, that I've promoted this a couple of times. I don't know if the Niners, you just used the first round on a receiver. You have juice. You got Aiyuk, Deebo, Jennings, Juice, McCaffrey, Kittle. Okay. Somebody's not on the field. So you really don't need that other tight end to be a guy that you're trying to get the ball to, as much as you would love it. No, I don't think so. I did travel today. Not COVID, just vocal cord surgery recovery. Adam just got his version of Juice. Yeah, I mean, that's the first guy I thought of when I watched the Ben Sinnott tape 3 weeks ago was Juszczyk. And I think it's hard. Like, I think it's a lot harder to replace Kyle Juszczyk than people are always trying to. Like, oh, I always compare it to the Draymond guy. Like, this guy's going to be Draymond. Denzel Washington is the next Draymond. Everyone's the next Draymond. Until they're not. And they're not. All right. Let's lock back in. Michael Hall, Ohio State, another D lineman. Miami, Dallas, Bucks, Packers, Texans, Bills, Lions, Ravens. How many teams are in this league? My God, that's a lot of picks. I did take some screenshots. I'm not going to share them here, but I mean, Kyle Shanahan's hair last night was as good as it's ever been. What's wrong with Jatavian Sanders out of Texas? The word on him is that all his big plays come on broken plays, that he's not actually kind of the big play guy that he looks like. Overrated per source. Quite a jacket there from McDaniel. Can we get a mulligan on the Latu pick? Nope. What are the odds on the 49ers missing the playoffs, in your opinion? Good question. Let's address that. One sec. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let's talk about this. What are the odds of the Niners missing the playoffs next year? Their schedule's difficult, but their team is good. Dallas was the second place team in the NFC, and I don't think they'll be better. But they are who they are. They got that coach. They got that quarterback. They're both going to have, when it's all said and done, really, really impressive careers. Detroit won 12 games last year. I think that's their ceiling. Tampa won 9. Somebody's got to win the NFC South. Maybe it'll be New Orleans this year. Philly won 11 last year, but it was the tale of two seasons. They've had big changes. I think they'll be around maybe a 11, 12 win team again. I think they'll be, not that they'll be significantly better. They'll be worse in some areas. They lose Kelsey, but they've, man, that's about around what they'll be. All right, Rams 10 wins last year. Fine. Green Bay 9. We learned Green Bay's over under is 9.5. Niners should still be better than Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota, Chicago, Atlanta, the Giants, Washington, Arizona, Carolina. Now, every year, a couple teams sneak in that weren't, and a couple teams fall out. I'm speaking generally. So, injuries happen, quarterback gets hurt, whatever. You can't go to, you can't say 5% chance because that's crazy. Everyone's chance of missing the playoffs higher than 5%. But I think it's low. I mean, it would be a colossal disaster. So I'm going to say a number that is going to sound high. I'm going to say like 10, 15%, which actually doesn't sound high. I was thinking about saying 20 because in my head I was thinking 20% chance to miss the playoffs. That means you play the season 10 times, they'll make the playoffs 8, which is pretty good. But that almost feels like you're giving them too much wiggle room. So I'll say 15. Good question. That's a fun question. Wait a second. Did Paul just get drafted? I just got to stop naming offensive linemen here. I missed it. Patrick Paul got drafted. Sorry. Son of a gun. I'm just trying to not draft Rowan Gardner. Not for any particular reason other than my guy Jeff Schwartz told me he's like a lighter version of McGlinchey. Good for Miami. All right. Niners. If the Niners win 10 games this year, that's a disaster. Is Purdy going to be worse? Offensive line's the same. I mean, Armstead was a good player, but he was also hurt. All right, we need another offensive lineman. What is that? So if you're just jumping in here, I said Frazier and Paul. That's who the Niners have been hunting in this round. Jordan asks, is Kingsley gone? No. Do you want Kingsley? I would pass. You never know. Like at some point, do they go, they'll tell us a lot by how big of a project of an offensive lineman they draft. Maybe they won't go offensive line. The good stretch of this draft is at the end of the 4th round, which I don't know that I'm going to stay live for. When the Niners have, they go 48, 124, 132, 135. Maybe I leave and come back for that. I don't know. I went 4 hours last night. I'm not going to lie. I ain't got it in me tonight to go that deep. Guys, say guys we don't want so they don't get drafted. Kingsley. What's wrong with Kingsley? Big project. Mark wants Walter Rouse. Oklahoma via Stanford. Casey's going big. Pick Malachi Corley at 63. Trade Debo to Pittsburgh for Frazier. Call it in, Lynch. I don't know, man. D-line just, oh, it's so weird to be at the end of the second round and not like any of the options, really. Look at best available. You know, best available? Okay, let's check the best available chart. This is just ESPN's grade, so do with that what you will. My other prediction was, you may recall, Cole Bishop to the Chiefs, but that's at the end of the round. That's 12 hours away. And this Rick Straw, Marshawn Neeland, the edge from Western Michigan, who I saw somebody in the chat said they'd like. You know what? Let me do a little something here. All right. You could go linebacker. The linebacker. Has there been a linebacker drafted yet? I'm sure there's been a linebacker drafted. You could go linebacker. I mean, hell, you might get the third best linebacker. The Cowboys take. I haven't jumped ahead. I haven't looked ahead. I mean, I gotta wait. Cooper went to Green Bay. Okay. Oh, there goes Marshawn Neeland. Look, think about this. It may be more likely. Just let's go through these positions for a second. And you tell me who is most likely to play snaps this year? A left tackle, a guard, a center, a corner, a linebacker. Okay? Left tackle, guard, center, corner, linebacker. I know what my answer is. If I said those 5 positions, they drafted one of those 5 positions, which one would play the most snaps this year? I know what my answer is. What's your answer? Oh, that's not copyright. I think it's linebacker. Like, they got no depth at linebacker until Dre Greenlaw comes back. And when Dre Greenlaw comes back, maybe he'll be ready to roll. But even then, Devondre Campbell is the extent of it. There's really, no evidence that D. Winters or Jalen Graham's about to take that spot. I know some of you are optimistic about it. I don't know why you are. Because they look good. They do. But, things change from year 1 to year 2, but like, to me, you take a solid linebacker here, that guy is playing a ton of snaps. You take Roger Rosengarten, let's just say, you take any particular guard or tackle. He'll play a little because they play guys a little, but is he really going to be better than Colt McKivitz right out of the box? No. You're already rotating guards. I wanted a center like you guys, but is that guy really going to take Jake Brendel's job? Veteran, Purdy, that's a lot to ask. Okay, corner. Yeah, somebody said, play some nickel. It's true. But as we talked about, Ambry Thomas is a backup and a solid backup. He's played a lot of snaps for them. Ward, Lenore, they signed Yiadam. Doesn't mean the guy couldn't play, but there's just more guys in the way there. What was the other position? Corner? Oh, D-line. Yeah, I mean, yes. But again, Leonard Floyd's in there. Yetur Gross-Matos, Jordan Elliott, Malik Collins, Javon Hargrave, Kevin Givens, maybe Drake Jackson. Is Robert Beal going to come on? We'll see. To me, linebacker is just so thin for them. I think you could argue it's their thinnest position. Oh, interesting. Okay, let me put this up. Well, Drake Jackson going to light it up in camp again. Did he light it up in camp? Safety is thin, but I mean, you have two, safeties. But you just drafted a guy in the second round last year. And, Hufunga's much closer to returning than Greenlaw. Let me share a graphic here that I just got. Oh, you're going to do this? Come on. Hold on. Not that. Here we go. All right, coming in. What can somebody, these HEIC files are just the most annoying. I know they save space, but God, they're annoying. Convert image. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. Here we go. This is Debo on IG. So he's reacting to the Dana Rossini post from earlier in which she said, I spoke to Debo Samuel on the phone and asked his reaction to the Niners drafting of his potential replacement and to the reports that they explored trading him. I know what's going on, he said, but it is what it is. I'm good staying with them. I'm chilling, which is fine. It feels kind of like a harmless. He reposts a photo of himself doing the heart emoji and says, these reporters, I swear. So somebody tell me what that, somebody tell me what she said that was so bad. Yeah, it's going to be Rosengarten. We're thin at fullback. That ain't changing. Chris Broswell, edge, Bama to the Bucks. Packers pick is in. Texans are on the clock. And then we are 3 picks away from Rosengarten. We're very thin at head coach. He is thin. Safety to the Packers. Another Notre Dame offensive tackle. Did you guys saying that Blake Fisher's got? Texans took Fisher. God, these offensive linemen are. Packers went safety before that. Time is at 7, so 9 Eastern. Okay. 6 for you guys if you're West. We are for real taking Rosengarten. Let me send a couple texts here. Kalen Bullock. Somebody said Kalen Bullock. USC corner back. Isn't Staley, the backup coach, also thin? I'm just preparing my just sending out a few texts. All right, people, who you want? We already lost 2 offensive linemen. Wanted Frazier, didn't get him. We are thin at Lombardi's. I think it's pretty amazing that. Oh. Did Cole Bishop just go to the Bills? Trade back. You know, here's the thing about a trade back. And last night's a great example. What do you need to trade back? What do you have to have? You have to have somebody who wants to trade up. Chat is going to go crazy when they pick Troy Franklin, says Mike. You know, they just get he was wide ass open a lot at Oregon. You watch a lot of his big plays, and they're just running in space. Looks like zone defenses just cutting him loose. He needs a lot of weight. You're not drafting a receiver here, and I don't think he's their type. I don't think he's their guy anyway. The good news for the Niners here is that they've got a pretty good roster. Like, just compared to the league, they got a pretty solid roster. Yeah, Patrick Paul was the other guy that we wanted here, and he got swooped up. So what good O-linemen are there next in the draft? I mean, it kind of feels like Rosengarten is next. Even if the Niners weren't the team, he just kind of feels like the next offensive lineman. Although Jeff Schwartz guaranteed me he'd be there. Yeah, I don't think the Lions or the Ravens would take him. We're getting close here, people. We're picking a gunner. Question. On a scale of excitement pre-draft to this very moment, of 1 to 10, Where are you in terms of excitement? Well, I'm at 10. I hope it's coming through. Did the Niners leak the DeJean, I can't say the guy's name, pick to find out who the insider was? I don't know. The leak, you mean? I don't know. All I know is if you were watching the stream, you knew they were taking Ricky Pearsall before anybody else. ESPN has Rosengarten as the best offensive lineman left. Let's do a little more text in here. Hold on, sending some messages. I'm back to you. You got my attention again. Oh, somebody tagged me in a what did Silver tweet? What's this from? Wish you guys could send links in the chat. That would be cool. What did Silver tweet earlier? No. Freight. To the Ravens? Per Breer? Oh my gosh. This is wild. All their O linemen are just getting taken out from underneath them, if that's true. Let me see. This is crazy. What are they going to do? Where did Breer? I don't see that from Breer. Did Breer say that? Did he say it on television? I need a second for confirmation. Appreciate the live streams the last 2 nights. Super chat from Dominic. Thanks, Dominic. Appreciate that. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I need to stop saying picks. You guys didn't want Rosengarten. I say Rosengarten. Now you're mad that you got swooped. Where did he get swooped? How did Breer really already get this out? I'm waiting. I only see one person in the chat saying that. You guys want Kingsley? Yeah, I just got a text. Maybe Bruce said it, but unbelievable. Rosengarten. Now, here's the thing. If the Niners really wanted Rosengarten, maybe they couldn't have moved up. Golly. You didn't even want the guy, but you're mad about it, you know? Well, folks, it's funny. It feels like the 5th round with the lack of available. But here's a fact. There's going to be a good player taken in the 2nd round. There's going to be a good player taken in the 3rd round of this draft. The question is, who is it? How about Peyton Wilson? TJ Tampa could go corner. Cedric Gray could go linebacker as well. Could go Cade Stover, tight end. Could go Cade Stover, tight end, actually. All right, let me get back to Jordan Schultz's Twitter feed because what are they going to do? Here we go, people. Let's see if we can scoop the scoopers on this one. Let me ask my guy if he's going to share the pick. All right. Niners on the clock. Traded back with the Chiefs. Okay. Whatever. KC on the clock. Who does Kansas City want? When did the Niners just get to do that? I'm guessing, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm guessing the Niners got I'm guessing they swapped 176 for 173. That'll be my guess. I haven't seen it yet. KC picked Kingsley. Yeah, Niners, fine. Niners didn't want him. I got no problem with that. I got no issue with that. You don't want the guy. Who cares that what they do? Niners got a 5th. Niners got 173. So they didn't have to swap. They just got 173. Another 5th. Great. I mean, they can use 2 5s and 3 4s and move up in the front of the 4th round, maybe. Right. Niners. Why are we trading with our arch nemesis? Because they don't think the guy's good. Oh, the Niners had to give up their 6th to get a 5th. All right. I am not. I didn't want you. This isn't new news. I didn't want him to draft Kingsley, and I'm not crying in my cold brew about it. All right, here we go. What do you guys want? I'm saying linebacker. But let's see. A little late for cold brew. No kidding, dude. Kept me up all night last night. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Haven't picked yet. Haven't picked yet. Last night they took 8 minutes to draft. They don't get 8 minutes today. Zach Frazier gone. Paul gone. Rosengarten gone. Oh. No. Oh, we got it. Someone wants Jaden Hicks. Somebody wants Dorless. Somebody is saying, I don't know what tell me, are you reporting, you guys, or are you hoping? If you guys beat me to it, I'm going to be pissed. Not a linebacker. Let's see. I'm getting bubbles. Renardo Green is the 49ers pick. Defensive back. That is the pick. You're hearing it here first. I don't know if I beat everybody to it, but Renardo Green, defensive back. Boy, I might have to do some studying on Renardo Green. Here we go. Florida State. Ooh. Renardo Green. Come on, I'm scrolling. Let's go. Where's this guy? Here we go. Renardo, 5'11", 7, almost 5'12", 186, fifth-year senior, Orlando, Florida. He'll turn 24 years old at the end of the year. He's from Apopka. I'm sure they got good football players there. Started playing at age 5. Standout running back, 3-star recruit. Honorable mention, second team All-ACC, led the ACC in passes defended, opted out of the bowl game. Overall polarizing prospect because he doesn't have desired size, speed, or ball tracking skills, and won't be a fit for every scheme, but his play personality and ability to quickly find his balance mid-coverage helps him stay connected and will give him a chance to earn a meaningful role in an NFL secondary. Let me see here. Let me text a guy. Let me text a few people, actually. I got a guy at Florida State. No ball tracking skills. That's another Florida guy. Yep. Let me send another text over here. That'll get you guys some more Florida State info. Hopefully we can get something like we did last night. Let's see. I like Florida guys as football players. Texting with somebody at Florida State right now. Let's see what he says. I should have some Florida State intel for you here soon. 5'12 DBs are the best. Would have preferred Andrew Phillips for cornerback. Let's look some more here at Dane Brugler's. I was reading you Dane Brugler's scouting report here. Patient, controlled in man coverage, smooth turn and run movements, above average body control to react to route breaks, quick to key on routes and field combinations around him. Didn't jam much at the line of scrimmage on tape, but he pins receivers to the sideline with physicality, pesters them with his hands throughout the route, reads receivers' eyes and body language when the ball's arriving, gets busy in run support. Well, I mean, that's all you need to hear. And is a serviceable tackler. Okay. Intensity level stays cranked throughout the game. This is a Niners guy. I wonder if there's a gold helmet guy for them. Has safety, special teams experience. Okay. Didn't miss a game because of injury the last 2 years. Those are his strengths. His weaknesses, average size and speed, more quick than fast. Not going to close the gap on vertical routes, smooth but not twitchy. Okay, I'm getting some good feedback from Florida State right now. I'm going to get some more for you. Hold on. Brendan. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Send it a text. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Let's see. Jets are taking Malachi Corley, by the way. I'm just told, or maybe it's already out there. All right. Sorry. I don't mean to ignore you guys. Intel. Here we go. This is what I got. This is from somebody at Florida State. Man-to-man corner, very even-keeled guy, steady, never panics, good technique, no panic in his game. I said, do you like him as a guy? He said, love him. So, I mean, you're definitely talking about a guy that got probably the Niners got very good feedback on as a person. And this, if, you know, I don't know if we find out that this is just a gold star, gold helmet guy for them, you know, wouldn't be shocked. Just based on that kind of rundown. Let me text another guy here. Oops, that's not for you guys. I guess he had a great game against Neighbors. That's good news. Let me send another message here. Just trying to get you guys some intel like we did last night. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that real quick. And we did a tape breakdown ASAP. No guard, no center, no offensive tackle. Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing with them. They generally will take guys that you like, I think. Guys that you go, oh, that's a solid dude, you know? Okay. Question. The Niners can't possibly keep all their picks on the roster this year. Why sit pat and not move up? I think, well, because you're just taking as many shots as you can. It makes sense to me. You take as many shots as you can. So what if some of them don't make it? This is not a very deep draft. So there's probably not a guy you're targeting going, we have to have that guy. So, you know, you draft 10 guys, you hope that 4 of them can play instead of drafting 7 and hoping 2 of them can play. Here's a message from somebody who covered him at Florida State. Awesome competitor, really locked up top receivers this year, press coverage specialist. All right. Let's see if we get something here. Yeah, good locker room chemistry guy. I mean, it's just, you know, they get Chris Peterson always used to call them OKGs, our kind of guys. And that's what he is. He's an OKG. Hold on one sec. Let me grab something. That I may or may not need. Tyler, not happy. Absolute waste of draft capital. If you like this guy so much, trade up in the 3rd with all your draft picks. Both have drafted around early. I mean, I think we're seeing like it's not a deep draft. There's not a lot of guys they love. Why trade up for a guy if there's not somebody you like right there? You know, like if there's not somebody else you want to take there, I mean, you're taking the best guy, you think, for you. You're just taking swings. Value is based on the evaluators. What's been happening since I stopped? Trey Benson, running back, Florida State. So we got second running back. Pats, Chargers. Okay. Let me send it. Who else we got here? All right. Oh, look. Adam Peters addressing the offensive line. Who do you take? Brandon Coleman, TCU. All right. Oh. See here. Hold on one sec. Sorry, y'all sending messages. Hold on. So we can get something here. Get a person hustling up a human being. All right. I know me just sitting here quietly is not good for content. He had a good game against LSU. Yeah, I mean that's the text I got also that said he had a good game against Malik Neighbors specifically. So since I'm sitting here quietly anyway, I am going to let me go try and call somebody, y'all. And I'm going to step away, but I will be right back. Be right back. All right. All right, y'all. Your boy is back. Um, all right, so here's the deal right now. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to I think I'm going to shut down this stream now because I'm not giving you guys a lot right now, and I don't want to wait for the next pick. I got to conserve a little, and we'll see what happens. And if I can if I can track down a Florida State person, and then as this draft goes on, somebody from these other picks that I'll come back with, like an interview or something like that. So just keep an eye out for that and a reaction to a dude like that. So that's what's going on. I'm going to shut it down for now. Thanks for hanging. May be back later tonight. We'll see. I'm in Boulder, Colorado for the Colorado Spring game tomorrow. And if we don't get immediate intel tonight, tomorrow we'll get some. We'll get some next week. We'll keep talking to people. Get some guys who know these players. We still got more players to pick. So, all right, thanks for being here today. If you're here right now, though, I mean, we're all hanging on a Friday. Hit that like button. The only other person here in this Boulder, Colorado WeWork, if you are in Boulder and you have a key card, you can come say hi. The only other person here is the janitor. That's it. Subscribe to the channel, like button, and talk to you all soon. Bye.